What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we are talking Agatha All Along and the Penguin. We are off. We were doing something Thursday. I can't remember what it is. So we didn't talk about Agatha episode 7 yet. But we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about the Penguin from last night. But before we get into all of that fun, Dave, Doug, how's it going, gentlemen?
Well, Keith, I got to tell you, I am fan-freaking-tastic. 6 months of practice culminated in a gig last Friday with Halloween. That was a bunch of fun. We nailed it. I thought it sounded great. There was a huge crowd, and it didn't, even though we played up until midnight, they didn't leave. Usually we get crowds leaving by 10:30, 11 o'clock, but this place stayed packed until we were done playing, so that was fun. And, then it kind of took the rest of the weekend to kind of relax. I feel a lot better today. Now we're going to talk about one good show and one pretty good show. So, without further ado, I'm going to ask Doug, how are you doing?
You asked me how I'm doing. Well, Dave, let me tell you, it was a little difficult to hear you. It kind of sounded a little bit like you were underwater for just a minute, but it could have been my internet. Who knows? It's hard to say.
I think it was Dave because I was doing the same thing.
Was it? Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't entirely sure.
I thought I got the question out before it happened, though. I said, how are you doing?
I lip read.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on.
No worries. No worries. It happens. I have internet today, so yay. Which, anyway, well, Dave, let me tell you, I am outstanding. So, I also had a gig on Friday. I played with my band Arbor Day. It was really good. I got to say it was pretty much, cassette tape quality. Go out and buy it.
Arbor Day.
At your Circuit City bargain bin. Yeah, we rocked the house tonight. The roof may have been on fire.
You set the roof on fire?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. We only got one song out, and then the fire department had to come. But
well, did you at least get the next band to raise the roof?
Yeah, they had to in order to get everybody out safely. No, I had a pretty relaxed weekend. I had a party going on Saturday. A couple of people over, did a bonfire, just something to do. Didn't really do much else. I feel like there was something that happened on Thursday, but I can't quite remember what it was.
It was a gaping 2-hour void that you're never.
Yeah. There's like time missing from my memory. I can't quite put my finger on what it was, but I don't know. Maybe it'll come back to me. But while I'm trying to jog my memory of this weird time missing on Thursday night, whatever could have happened, Keith, sir, how are you?
Gentlemen, I am tremendous. But weirdly, my gig on Friday night with my band, the Knuckle Smocks, went swimmingly. And even more strangely, I have that same memory gap from Thursday night. I feel like, and it's weird because just thinking about it makes me angry. Like something bad went down. I don't know what it is, but it's a little weird that we're all having this.
I also have in this notebook appointment with hypnotherapist with the guys. Did we go see a hypnotherapist?
I think right after we did something earlier, because we wanted something removed. we had all been through something we never wanted to go through again, and we wanted it erased.
We asked Martian Manhunter to remove the memories from all of us.
Oh, you guys had Martian Manhunter? I had what's her name from Deadpool and Wolverine. The hand was all.
Ooh,
Cassandra Nova was a bad idea. But it was funny because very rarely do the three of us agree on movies. We all thought this movie was very bad.
Yeah.
My nephew and my brother decided to see it anyway last night.
Mm.
And my nephew sent me a text saying, "We should have listened to you." And I'm like, you guys know if I say something is really bad, I tend to lean towards the positive side of things. I look for the good in stuff. And I could find no good in that movie. So if we're all agreeing that something is terrible, please save your money. If you want to waste it, send it to us. You know, not
Right.
your status quo, quick care of, I don't even know what to say. But believe us, when we say something is terrible, it's terrible. And we
One,
got
2, 3. It's terrible.
Yes, it is. We got Sierra out in the chat on Twitch. Good to see you. And she says she likes Agatha, by the way. You know,
Excellent.
I think
Excellent.
we
Good to know.
all think it's good to find. Not great, not bad. I mean, it's been better than, you know, a few of the Marvel shows on there. You know, I would rather watch this than Moon Knight. I'd rather watch this than She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Rather
I
watch
agree.
this than Special Investigation. But
Yeah.
Oh God, I keep forgetting that existed. Oh man.
I would definitely rather watch Loki than this, though, because Loki was top notch in my book. You know what? Are we gonna talk Agatha first?
I think we should.
Yeah, we should. We can end on a high note.
Good idea. Excellent idea. Because
Well, you know what,
this episode
Dave,
was
you
called.
bring up.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say this episode was called "Death's Hand in Mine," which is a lyric from the Witch's Road song, which Dave was probably upset he didn't get to hear it this episode.
Oh, I was crying. Crying in my cornflakes.
Well, so Dave, you bring up a good point. So you had mentioned just before we started talking about this, you know, that we want to talk about Agatha all along, so we can end on a high note. Presumably when we talk about the Penguin.
Yeah.
Now, something weird happened with this episode, this specific episode of Agatha All Along, that I have yet to see with all the rest of the episodes. And it's kind of weird whenever you're watching a series where it has like an overarching narrative structure like this, where it's one continuous story. These aren't like just one-off episodes. This isn't like, no, what is the What If series. This isn't like the What If Marvel series where you can tune in whatever you want and it doesn't matter. You know, this has, from beginning to end, a narrative structure, a narrative flow. And so it's odd that all of a sudden, this particular episode, all the viewers just kind of like ranked up. There was like a lot more people viewing when this episode aired, and a lot of people singing its praises, saying that this is the best Marvel TV that has been out in a while. And I gotta say, like, I was curious about that.
Yeah. I would agree with those last two words, the best in a while.
I don't know.
I mean, how long has it been?
Echo was out this year, and I think Echo was better than this.
So it's been like 9 months. A while.
And
While
Doug had mentioned these reviews online, and I checked it out, and he's right. It's like, do I like this show? Yes, I think it's good. But there was just a majority of people just talking how this is just so great and so amazing, and so, I was like, I'm
the pinnacle of TV.
Yeah, I'm glad they're enjoying it. I don't see it that way. Once again,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anyone's wrong unless they're talking about how good a Snyder movie. I'm just kidding. If you like Snyder movies, it's fine. But
I mean, it almost sounds like review bombing for it to happen all at once, all on one episode.
The opposite of
almost,
review bombing.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Doing the other, like everybody jumped in at once, saying like, there's something weird about that.
It is a little odd to me. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. Like what Keith said, it's not terrible TV. Like I'm not hating it. We've watched some real stinkers lately. Like I mean, you saw a review on Thursday night of Venom: The Last Dance, and if you didn't, go check out shameless plug. Go check out our review, especially if you haven't seen the movie yet. It'll help you in deciding, hopefully,
No,
not to go see
just check out the review. Don't check
it.
out the
Right,
movie.
yeah, just check out the review. But, I mean, talk about, like, things that we've seen lately that just, they're not great, right? So, like, The Acolyte, not the best thing that we've seen. We felt like it was kind of a waste of time in watching it. Agatha all along doesn't quite fit that standard. I'd say Agatha is better than some of the worst stuff that we've seen lately. And so, by no means do I want to call it bad TV. It's just not super exciting to me, and it certainly isn't, the pinnacle of TV or the greatest thing Marvel's ever done, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't see anyone having that opinion if they're including anything in the first three phases.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Well, even if we limit it to Marvel Television, like just their series,
it's still not the best. There's still
no.
other series that are better.
Like Keith had mentioned, Loki, both the Loki season 1 and season 2. Now that is amazing TV.
I think WandaVision, which this is kind of a spin-off of, was definitely better than this. I think the beginning of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I thought started strong, kind of had some hiccups in the middle. It did.
Yeah.
So it was probably about on par with this.
Echo was better than this.
I think Echo was definitely better. Echo was shockingly good. I don't think any of us, well, pre-trailer, before that trailer came out, we were all like, they're dropping it all at the same time.
Yep.
Wow, I'm not looking forward to this. And then we saw the trailer, like, okay,
that actually looks good.
Pretty good. And where this is almost exactly what I thought it was going to be. Like, it's
Dennis
not
Green,
the what?
I said Dennis Green, folks.
Yeah, we are who they say they were. But
I'll give it this. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I really thought this was going to be a stinker of a series. It's better than that.
Especially when we saw the whole I can do this all day Captain America thing, and we're like, oh my God, they're going to keep trying to go to that Agatha all along. Well, and I thought that was, I was like, okay, they're going to do trials and it's going to be this. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't looking overly forward to it. When we saw the trailer, it looked a little darker than I thought it was going to be. So I was like, all right, this could be good, and it's good.
And there's another series that's better than this, by the way, Hawkeye.
Yes.
I liked Hawkeye too, yes.
Hopefully we get a season 2.
Aubrey Plaza wasn't on this episode, and it was kind of oversold to me how much she was going to be in it. She's been in like 3 episodes, I think.
Well, just so you know, she was filming Megapolis at the same time as Agatha. Mm-hmm. I think that's why we're not seeing her in it as much as maybe we thought she was going to be. And she even had an interview. She said she would wear her Rio costume on set to Megapolis just to see how people reacted.
That's what I mean. That's what I want to see her, because she doesn't laugh a minute. She's hilarious.
So this particular episode, Keith, would you say it was titled again?
Death's Hand in Mine.
Death's Hand in Mine.
I think every name of this, each episode is named as a part of the verse, right?
Yes.
I believe it is, yeah. But the reason why I wanted to bring that up, so Dave just mentioned, this one was very Rio lacking. We didn't really we didn't see her in this episode, but we did finally get,
confirmation.
God, the confirmation. Thank you. I don't know why the word was slipping me. We finally got confirmation about her character, and this is something that we've been talking about, quite a bit. Like going back to the first episode, the idea has been floated around. Like it's a lot like, it's about on par with Agnes being Agatha. It's like, oh, they'll never guess. And then, as soon as like, oh, she's Lady Death, isn't she? And they finally confirmed it. Kind of weird for them to wait until this episode to confirm it and then not even have her in it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably setting up for, the last 2 episodes. It was, once again, I liked most of this episode. I liked Lilia's time jumping stuff. I thought that was pretty well executed.
That was the thing I hated the most.
Understand, it was Memento light. I mean, other movies have done it much better than this was. I just thought, I was like, okay, this is kind of nice. We're seeing it jump back and forth. It kept me interested. I think if this would have been a straightforward episode, because it would have been just another test, it would have been a lot less interesting. And I thought seeing all that and seeing how conversation, weird stuff she said previously, not only on the road, but outside of the road, fit into how her, time is not a straight line type thing. So I was entertained by it. I was like, okay, good. They're doing something a little bit different, not just another trial. Oh, the team found the clue. Now this is the divination witches thing, so she's got to do this. It had a little more things to it. I still thought of the Disney costumes. I was like, okay, we know that Marvel is owned by Disney. It's on Disney Plus. We get it. Ha ha. Good stuff. But the only thing I did laugh at was Jen, when she was dressed like the evil queen as the hag. And she's like, why are you dressed like that? She's like, I don't want to talk about it. I thought that was funny.
Well, I thought that time jumping stuff was like, and when they went back and showed you like where she went in those moments, and I just thought that's cheesy. I thought that's something they probably said, hey, we're going to throw this in there when they got to this episode. Now we need to go back and mark a few spots, when they're writing the script type of thing. And they need to go back and mark a few spots where she just does something like that, zones out for a moment. I thought it was kind of retro. I wasn't really fooled by it. I don't know if that fooled is the right word, but like, you know what I mean.
I don't think I
just
was
didn't
fooled by it. Yeah, impressed.
What? Impressed? Is that what we said?
Yeah, I'm wondering, did you mean like
impressed? Yeah, I just it's been done like he said, it's been done a lot better, and it just didn't work for me. It wasn't my favorite part of the show, like Doug was saying.
Yeah, it really wasn't my favorite either. And but here's the thing. So I will give them a little bit more credit. I do think that this was probably planned from the beginning. Now, I did read one of those articles. I ended up sharing this with the two of you because it took me a bit by surprise that some of the praise that people are heaping on this is due to the fact that this came off as a twist or a surprise to some folks, like that where they thought that she was a bit of a quirky character who was like maybe seeing her visions or whatever throughout. It was, I suppose, unexpected that she was time jumping or hopping through different time frames. I think that was like what people are like, oh, they planned it all from the beginning. And if that's the case, all right, cool. Good for them. If you're going to write a major, what's supposed to be a blockbuster TV series, like you come from a major studio, you've got that backing, you've got the actors, you've got the directors, you've got the money, the budget to make this. I would expect that you would do that. So I guess I'm not overly.
Just so you know, Doug, this is the least expensive show they've made on Disney Plus. Yes.
Well, you know what? I believe that, especially because they're doing like a lot of like an ode to Wizard of Oz, like the painted backdrops. So I can say it's probably a little bit cheaper to make, but now that is something I'm willing to praise them for because I like the use of it. I love how many nods to other like witch related media they're doing. So I actually think I was fine with like all the Disney witch things. It's like, okay, if you're gonna lean into it, I suppose. But yeah, the thing that everybody was heaping praise on it for, this whole, oh my gosh, what a twist. She was actually jumping through time all along, and they planned this from the beginning. Okay, good for you, I guess. It annoyed me more than anything, though, because it felt like, once again, we were taking up space in an episode rather than advancing the plot. Like, very little time, to me anyway, felt like they were advancing the plot much further. We had to, deal with another trial. We've got this like tarot card thing, and if you don't read them the right way, which is already kind of shaky as far as like a trial goes, then swords are going to drop, and they're also dropping at random. And then eventually the ceiling is going to fall with like all the swords. Okay, fine, whatever. So now we need to get the divination witch, and we need to get her in here to do tarot the right way. Otherwise, everybody's gonna die. Okay, fine, good setup for a trial. But then we've got to before we can even get to that point, we've got to deal with this whole time jumping thing, and we're going back and forth like the same scenes over and over and over as we're as they're trying to line everything up, and we're going all over the place. And it felt like an editing nightmare. It was like I'm just sort of like, oh, all right, can we like get to the end now? Come on.
There were times
And then,
it
of
felt a
course,
little
yeah.
choppy.
Yeah,
And then, of course, she couldn't make it, right? Because they have to eliminate one every.
of
so
course,
it's
because they gotta have
Survivor.
somebody die every time.
They haven't had
Yeah,
someone
I
die
thought
every
that
time.
was
But see, once again,
Just
I
about.
think you guys,
Almost.
I mean, it shows that there's stakes to the road. I mean, we know that when Agatha, if she actually did it before, only her and probably Rio, Lady Death, made it out. So, we do see that there's stakes. I would rather them have a few deaths. Alice is dead. We're assuming she's not coming
no,
back.
But it's
Lily had
like
died in this
predictable
episode.
that each one of them ain't gonna make it. It's predictable that one of them's gonna die each week, and you're just thinking, which one's it gonna be?
But there hasn't been one that's died every week.
Well, yeah, I mean, practically, one witch is not. They're gonna eliminate the witches one by one, is what I'm saying, and that's what they've been doing. So that's kind of predictable. And two of them didn't go out at the same time. I mean, they could have, but they didn't. They brought them back. So
Well, I have a question for you, gentlemen.
They're
So
one by one.
I'm gonna do what Night Your Status Quo does best. I'm gonna jump to the end. So at the very end, we saw the. Now I thought this part was kind of cool. Her flipping the room by using the magic of the tarot card to flip the tower. I thought that was kind of neat. I will golf clap that. But we also saw the Salem Seven all get impaled by the swords. Does that mean like, is that it? They're done? Like they're eliminated now from the show? They've been killed? Or do you guys think they're going to come back in some way? I mean, there's some sort of super powered witches that have been living for centuries. Did getting poked a little bit? Is that really that was it?
I think it only
I
slowed
might
them
think
down.
no, but then they are on the witch's road, and things have like Keith said, if things are going to have consequences, people are going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they died. I mean, it has to have consequences for them as well, or else there's no way to defend them.
I will
Okay.
only say I don't think because they built them up as kind of the big threat chasing them on the road.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And to
thinking.
kind of kill them off that way, it might have slowed them down, weakened them, but I don't think it killed them. And I think that they're going to be back. Some of them, maybe not all of them. But the stakes
Yeah, the ones that
are
can walk,
the what?
the ones that get their legs chopped off, they're going to be back.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to army crawl down the witch's road.
Yeah, they'll get there, but it's going to take them a little longer.
And I did too. I thought it was a nice touch that she was almost like, it's my time. I'm going to do this, even though she knows that Agatha is power, hungry witch and really only in it for herself. She almost did it for the rest of the coven, and was like, Billy and Jen, you guys need to make it, and whatever. I'm going to do this because it's my time or whatever. Like she just knows it is, and I thought that was handled pretty well. I was like, okay, I didn't shed any tears or anything. It wasn't like some, Ted Lasso moment when, I'm pretending I'm looking the other way. So no, wait, that's not me.
I got something in my eye.
Yeah. But it's like they're doing everything well, but not great. They're having these things, and it's good, but it's not really getting over that hump where it's truly emotional. It's truly, like Dave said, I don't think anyone was fooled with what Lily was doing. We all knew she was taking in other conversations or doing anything. And
I don't think the three of us fooled, but again, apparently,
Yeah.
according to social media, other people were. That took me for a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect that.
Is that the new people that were saying that though?
See, I'm not sure. I didn't look that deep into it. That I don't know. It could be. Maybe people that haven't been watching it.
Yeah, I think if it's them, I could see that. You know,
Most of the ones I saw were people who were watching every week. And really, when I definitely thought what was the one episode? Darn it. Hey, when I do this. The Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power episode was really good. I thought episode 5 was kind of the best that we've had. Where this was almost like all the other ones. Above average, but nothing overly special. Where I thought Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power was...
Which one is that?
That's the one with...
that's when we find out it's Wiccan.
Yeah, when he shows his power at the end.
Okay, so like the flashback one with him?
Yep. Well, no. The flashback was the next episode. This is the one where they were doing Agatha's trial, and she was kind of
in the
possessed by her
cabin
mom.
thing. Okay,
yeah.
With the Ouija board. All right, okay, thank you. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I barely remember an episode by its title.
Why? I have all my notes. I have all my notes.
Awake Thy Power, and I'm like, cool.
I save all my notes because I go back because I don't remember them either. I'm like, wait, which episode was that? I know things that happened. I'll read my notes and figure it out.
I feel like it's the equivalent of the person that knows directions to a place based on surroundings. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna drive past the 7-Eleven and then it'll be right next to the Speedway. What are you talking about? Give me streets. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's one of the Ouija board.
Well, yeah, it'd be a lot easier to remember if they had one-word titles like, I don't know, Smallville. I had to say it.
No, that's a me problem. I'm an idiot.
No, we see a lot of things. The memory wipe we got Thursday night probably affected things outside of that. So
Yeah, and it's weird. It's like this has happened before too.
Not enough.
I feel like we've seen only one movie this year.
Oh God, that's right.
Oh my God. Is that the only good one we've seen? Holy smack. Well, we got Craven to look forward to, so, Craven.
Yay! What sort of spider-related accident will lead to him getting his powers?
I heard his mom was studying spiders down in the Amazon before she died.
He's going to be inverted Spider-Man. Bizarro Spider-Man.
A spider bit a lion and then a lion scratched Craven.
I hope that's it. I will give it a 10 if that's what they do.
I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to talk about that though.
We may need another memory wipe. But as far as Agatha all along, we got 2 episodes left. They're both dropping this Wednesday. Unfortunately, we won't be talking about it till next Monday, a week from today, with Halloween and all the stuff going on. I got a trip this weekend. But I'm looking forward to it. I really do hope they wrap this up nicely. If they kind of land on their feet on this, on the ending, it'll be, a quality entry for the MCU. We know that Marvel is changing how they're doing things. After all the backlashes on a lot of the recent projects, and we know they totally redid how Daredevil Born Again went. They brought in a lot of the Netflix stuff, kind of, reworked it. We don't know if this is kind of
canceled.
Yeah. No, you didn't. The latest update. New script coming. They start filming next year.
Again. This is like the 4th script.
They are.
Well, until next week when they say they.
I was gonna say
the show.
They are obsessed with making this movie. They want to make it. So, I guess got a new writer, and
again,
yes.
And is Wesley Snipes gonna be Blade?
Nope, still Mahershala Ali, and supposedly they have it's gonna be R-rated.
Okay, good.
And
Good.
they think they have the right way to go now. So But like Dave said, we've heard that 3 times now. So I hope it's true, but until I hear that they're filming, I'm not going to believe it. It's like the Daisy Jedi New Order movie that I doubt it's going to release when it's supposed to. It's Stephen Knight has left the project. He's not writing it anymore, and it's up in the air. So,
Well,
one of those things.
the only thing that I hope, and I'm going to try and wish this into reality. I just need like a background scene that you blink and you miss it kind of thing, where we see Ryan Reynolds getting ready to walk out to be Whistler in the new Blade movie, but then we see a red gloved hand reach through a doorway and pull him back, and we remove him from the movie. And we find out that it's Daredevil removing yet another Ryan Reynolds cameo in a movie before it can taint the multiverse.
You mean Deadpool? You said Daredevil.
Deadpool, yeah. Did I say? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Yes, Deadpool.
You silly. You're just
We see
silly.
a red-gloved Deadpool hand remove Ryan Reynolds before he can reveal himself as Whistler or not Whistler. Who was he in? Whistler was the old guy. Who was Ryan Reynolds' character?
I don't even
I can't
know.
remember. That movie was so
I can't
bad.
remember either.
Blade 3
But
was terrible.
yeah, it was so terrible. So yeah, that's what we need to happen. We need just like as he's going, oh hey, and then he gets yanked out of the movie, and that's it. Like you don't even if you don't notice it, it's not going to ruin anything. But if you do, it's a little haha. Glad they did that.
You mentioned Ryan Reynolds. And it's funny because with how well Deadpool and Wolverine did,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's all they're already working on a sequel to Deadpool and Wolverine. Of course, nothing confirmed by Marvel Studios. But Ryan Reynolds was on Fallon, maybe, and he's like, "Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm not doing it. Not doing another. I'm done." And I'm like, "Okay, now I'm starting to believe they're already working on a script because he was like, my family will divorce me if I do another one," which they were all in the movie. So I was like, that just doesn't ring true. He's just, being silly. So, I hope if they do it, it's a great script and they, better be as good as the last one because that one was such a great movie. Don't taint it just because it did well. We see all of the BS that goes on with all these studios. Everything is pointing to now that, Spider-Man 4 is going to be a huge multiversal type thing taking place between Doomsday and Secret Wars instead of giving us the Devil's Reign, Kingpin Kingpin versus Daredevil and Spider-Man, which I think any comic book person would tell you. We want to see that much more than we want to see a multiversal Spider-Man movie at this point.
Do you know what I would even like to see? And I know this is going to sound boring as heck to like everybody else out there, but I would kill to see the storyline where Peter Parker is framed by Kingpin and Matt Murdock has to come in and represent him in court. All the while they're fighting crime at night as Daredevil and Spider-Man, and neither of which know that they're superhero identities. So they're out, and Spider-Man's like, "Hey, this is my I'm the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man of this area." And Daredevil's like, "Well, I'm here to help you, kid." And then in court, "Oh, hey, man, you look like you haven't slept." "Yeah, me either, huh?" I just
How did you do that? I'm a really good lawyer.
right. And then at the end of the movie, we'll be able to collectively say, "Look, you can make a comic book courtroom movie well." Joker 2.
Wait, there was a court scene in Joker 2?
Wait, all I heard was
Memory
a
wiped.
bunch of singing. I heard a Carpenter song in there.
For no reason.
Why do birds? I'm not gonna do the whole song, but
No, do it.
no, come on. Get us demonetized.
Just a copyright strike. It's fine. We don't have any yet. Well, should we rate this episode of Agatha?
Sure.
I suppose so. We kind of vaguely spoke about it a bit.
That's because, and that'll lead into the beginning of my review. that's because it wasn't memorable. The thing, the things that I remembered about the show before we started talking about it tonight was her. Are we still in tangent time?
Oh, whoops.
No, why do you
Was
say that?
her. I don't know. I don't want to say. The thing that stuck out to me was her being the Wicked Witch in that costume. That was about it until we started talking about it, and then everything else came back to me. That tells me that it wasn't really that memorable an episode. So when you told me, like how everyone was crowing about it so much, well, I find it difficult to believe, or that people are very maybe influenced by the holiday. I don't know what else to say
I
because
didn't even think of that.
yeah, it wasn't that special. It was okay. So I'm gonna give, like I've given every other episode, I think. I'm giving this one a 5. What do you think, Doug?
Well, Dave, I think I'm kind of in the same boat as you that I won't say that this wasn't memorable to me. I did watch it. I watched it the night that it aired. Um and as I was watching it, it was fine. It was fine. And I say that with the most like monotone bare but like just not good, not bad, just it was eh, and I was impressed with the fact that here's the things that I did like. So I'll get this out of the way. I was impressed with the switch up of the trial. I liked that they did something a little bit different. I thought that the idea behind the trial was dumb, but then again, no offense to anybody out there, I also think tarot cards are kind of dumb, considering it started off as just like a game, and it got turned into fortune telling. Whatever. I'm sure Pokemon cards will be the fortune telling of a 2165. So
I think Magic the Gathering, Doug.
right. I'm just about to pick my Magic. Pick my Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's a trap. But no, like so I kind of liked the idea of the trial being something a little bit different. I kind of like the fact that we got the Lady Death reveal finally, even though we all knew it already. Um, it seemed to be shot well. The sets are always impressive. I'm I like the matte, painting backdrops. I like the whole, follow the Yellow Brick Road Wizard of Oz kind of twisted version of it that they're doing where they're clearly on what looks like a set, right? They're following the witch's road and then they stop at, a painting and then go into the next trial. Like I like the fact that they're doing that. I think it's cute. But as far as like everything else in this episode, like the main bulk of this episode being this big reveal that Patty LuPone's character was jumping through time the entire time, and they set it up by every single time she spoke, it was her visiting from a different time, and oh, what happened? Oh, I don't know, and it's like okay, that's fine that's what they're trying to set up, but like I don't know, I wasn't excited by it. I was more annoyed by the fact that they were taking up so much time in this episode to do this, to do this little like, trick, whatever. I don't even know what to call it. This storytelling thing that they wanted to do where, it turned out that she was jumping through time the entire time and this just happens to be her witchy power. Um, Fine. It felt like it took up too much of the time. Too much of the episode was dedicated to this thing. And then by the time we finally got to completing the trial, all it really was she just had to do the tarot reading the right way, and then the cards became magic. It stopped the moving of the ceiling, and then we won the day by her shuffling everybody off through the door, and then she flipped the tower card, which I did think that was kind of cool. And then potentially killed all of the Salem Seven by impaling them on the sword ceiling and also herself. And like I said, it was fine, but I just wasn't excited about this episode. This might have been actually maybe my least favorite episode, and I think it was because of the weird like I said, the time jumping thing. It felt more tedious to me. That's the word I've been thinking of. I was trying to figure out like what it would have. It felt tedious. It felt like it wasn't worth the reveal or whatever it is that they were hoping to accomplish out of this. So I'm gonna give this a 4.5 out of 10.
Ooh, lower than me. Wow.
Do you want to adjust yours, Dave?
Nope. I'll be okay.
See, for this episode, I wasn't annoyed by the things you guys were annoyed by. I thought the sort of time jumping connection, while jumpy at times, I thought it was still effective. I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of cool seeing her going all the way back in time to, her teacher and kind of sprinkling into the stuff on the road. I thought Patti LuPone did a great job. I really think all of the people on this show, I think what carries this show more than anything else is the acting. Like Catherine Hahn, Aubrey Plaza, Patti LuPone, I forgot Wiccan's name, Joe Locke. Like, they're all really good. They do really good job acting. Where it hurts is it's like almost everything they do is good. It's not great. It's almost like I mentioned earlier, the time jumping thing. While I wasn't as put off as you guys were, it was like a pale comparison to like Memento. And it hasn't been an overly, surprising show. Like a lot of the surprises that we've seen, us and a lot of other people have figured out. But the reveals also haven't been as god awful as some of the other, times when you guess things and it comes out. They're still doing a good job with the reveals, but once again, just a good job. It seems to be the theme for everything they do. It's not great, it's good. And I do think we're done with all of the trials now, because we had Alice's trial, we had Agatha's trial, we had the Potion Witch, we had Patty's, the Divination Witch's trial, and we had Agatha's trial. And I don't think we get a trial for Wiccan because he wasn't a part of the coven. We may. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how they go from here. I enjoyed this episode. It was good. I've watched it twice. Will I watch it again? Maybe. You know what? It all depends. If they land the finale, land the ending of the series, I may watch it again, because it hasn't been, something like Moon Knight where I'm like, oh my God, or Venom: The Last Dance. Things where I watch and I'm like, I will never watch this again unless it just happens to be on TV and I wake up because I fell asleep on a couch or something silly like that. But this has been good. And for that reason, I'm going to give this episode a 6. Wasn't the best episode, I think, in this series, but I don't think it was the worst either. And I'm looking forward to seeing where they go from here.
So Doug's the dark cloud this week.
Hey.
Sorry, guys, I'm the bummer.
It's not a bummer. You know what? It's all about, there's probably people who agree with Doug that watch us who are like, if Doug gives it a 4.5, they probably feel the same. People that agree with Dave, people that agree with me, and that's why it's good to have, very rarely do we all give something a 2. We almost never
That did
all
surprise
agree.
me, like, right down the line. Boy, we all like
Those.
So, like, as the movie ends, usually it's by that point when I've already figured out this is what I'm going to score it. And so I was sitting there in the theater, getting ready to get up, and I'm like, this is definitely a 2. And so when I heard Dave give that, I'm like, whoa, what are the odds? And then, Keith, you really surprised me. I thought for sure you'd at least give it a 4.
Oh my God, I couldn't. I was trying to find something redeeming about that movie, and I couldn't. Like even the dialogue between Eddie and Venom that Tom Hardy does both do, which I've enjoyed in the other movies. I was just like annoyed by it. I'm like, okay, this is just terrible. Why?
You know what was
why
the best part of that movie? The moment that Null looked at the camera. That was the best part.
Excuse me. And to wrap it all up, that final post-credit scene just the guy,
With the
the
cockroach.
bartender, just like getting out of the cave and running.
Yeah.
I was like,
Who cares?
I was hoping he was dead. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He's a great actor. I liked him in Ted Lasso, but it like didn't put anything out for future projects.
No.
It was like some.
It felt like a last minute thing. Like they had wrapped up the movie. They're getting ready to send out the distribution copies, and all of a sudden, whoa, wait. Some Sony executive comes running out. I rewatched this. I didn't see an end credit scene. Director's looking like, well, yeah, we didn't really have one. It's a pretty standalone movie, you know. It's part of the Venom trilogy, and
We had
that's
that
it. Like,
mid
there's
credit
really
scene
nothing
with
that needs to be
Noel.
said.
Did you not see? He said you're gonna watch it, hinting at a future movie. We still need end credit scene.
Okay. What you don't understand, this is a comic book movie, and people are expecting it. We have to have something at the end. So he's probably sitting there like looking through the film script. I mean, we're gonna
Where's
cut out
Michael
this whole
Keaton?
like cockroach thing, but they like glue it on at the end. All right, there, whatever. But the fact that we waited for that,
You know what would have been great if it was the exact same scene from Morbius, but
Right.
instead of Morbius, they like cut Eddie Brock in there, and he's like,
Oh, yeah. Just pasted him there.
hey, what are you guys doing? What are you standing around here for in the middle of nowhere? What's it? Eddie, let us go see what they're doing. That is a Birdman.
"Hey, Doug, Venom died."
Yeah,
He
he's
couldn't.
no
Be,
longer-
well, actually, that would probably would have been how they did it. Wait, didn't he just kill
Yeah.
Venom in the movie? Now he's still talking to Eddie.
Does not matter, Eddie.
All right, now
Sorry, I wasn't paying as much attention to the movie as you were. I'm so sorry. I will say, like seriously, in all honesty, until you just said that, I legit did forget that Venom died.
Oh my god. Well,
That's
there's two
how
parts to him.
long ago that movie was in my brain. Like, I've already pushed everything out. I barely remember what happened in it, other than the weird impromptu singing that I'm like, why are we doing this? What is with, like, the music choices in that movie make no sense.
and the dancing scene that like just came out of nowhere and was perfectly choreographed. I'm like,
I
they
do like
think
that
that
Eddie
would work?
went, when did you guys practice this?
I think I saw that. And I forgot to mention this. I think they threw that in later. Like that was
Oh, yeah.
like because they were like, okay, this makes no sense. Let's try to throw a joke in there.
Right.
But are you guys ready to talk about something other than Agatha? Another maybe comic book show that's maybe on Max about a villain
That's maybe on Max?
that is on Max. That isn't a Sony movie about a villain.
Let's do.
No, Sony.
Let's talk The Penguin, episode 6, Gold Summit. Which this episode showed us a very raw, very what's the word I'm looking for here? Like emotional, very, very vulnerable Oswald. And I didn't expect that to happen. And I was absolutely blown away by Colin Farrell's performance in that. That was, I thought, tremendous.
Oh, he was incredible. The show is one of the best things about the show is the dialogue to me.
Yes.
They know how to say things. They know how to make it dramatic. They know when to say something and when to not say something and how to say it in code. They do it so well in this show. And that, now just because we're watching them at the same time, I always compare it to Agatha. And I think that is just so not on the same level. That you can see the different levels of writing. When this show hits it on, like, there's a reason that they do everything. There's perfect dialogue to set it up, and you don't have to have a whole lot of special effects or stuff like that if you have great dialogue and you can tell a great story that way.
Great dialogue, great acting, especially the character who plays Victor. I mean, I think I don't remember which one of you. One of you compared him to like an opposite version of Robin, like in the story of where like you've got Batman training up this young kid to become like a fighter to kind of get over the fact that he's lost his parents in a strange circus accident, a freak circus accident. You know, those happen all the time. I see them in the news every other week. These circuses got to stop with killing kids' parents and having billionaires adopt their kids. I mean, every other weekend, I swear. But no,
And
it's
you
like a
know,
reverse
don't forget
Robin.
families being shot outside of a movie theater in an alley.
Oh, you know, if
Yeah, pearls.
I I was gonna, Dave, I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to get canceled. But if people would stop wearing pearl necklaces, I think they're kind of asking for it at that point.
After pearl necklaces come on, they can go right back on if you have the right equipment.
But no, the fact that we got to see Victor kind of, he's becoming more cruel. He's losing more of his humanity to become, more like Oswald. He's becoming more like all of these other criminals. And Oswald just keeps praising him every time he does something like this. And he even looks at him at one point and he says, "It gets easier, kid." And it's like, oh,
That's what I
that's
was going to
gross.
bring up. To me, that was the most chilling line of all of this. Like he was sharing a very good moment with Vic, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I know it's tough. I know it's tough." And then he's like, "Hey, bring it in here. Bring it in here." And he's like, "It gets easier from here." I was like,
Yeah.
"Damn, that
Right?
was such a cold, brutal line." Right
I mean,
after a very, tender kind of scene between his father and son type
gives him a hug,
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what.
really he's really humanized in this show, and you kind of you
Yes.
know he's still a bad guy. He's just a protagonist of this show, but you root for him because he has a human side. He cares about people. He doesn't just do things just to do them. He's not the Joker, you know. He's got reasons that he wants to be able to take care of his mother, and he wants to be now. When I think after what happens at the end of this episode, I think something's going to happen next episode that's going to make him want to just take care
Ooh.
of. He wants to take care of anybody who's loyal to him, and if you're not, he doesn't. Then he'll probably take you out.
So I did not get a chance to watch this right away when it did drop. And I saw Keith, you had put in our chat. He said, "What a cliffhanger." I'm like, "Oh no, there's like a big cliff." And then when I finally did watch it, I was like, "That's what he was talking about." So, in not your status quo fashion, Dave, thank you for prompting me. Jump to the end. What a cliffhanger,
You
dude.
know, it was
What
funny.
was that?
After he had that moment with his mom, when she was like, "You got to promise me when my mind's gone, my body's good. You basically will take me out." He's like, "I can't do it, Ma. I can't do it, Ma. I can't." And he eventually gives in and he kind of dresses her all up, tells her how pretty she is and stuff. And then had that moment with Vic. I'm like, they're both going to be gone soon. And then
Yeah,
I was like, okay, the ending's just going to be, hey, because I loved the scene of him passing out beers and rallying those guys with his call. They don't care
Right,
about
right.
you. You know what? You know how we survive? We team up with each other. Sullivan, do you think they know your name? They killed two of your guys. They don't know anything about you. They don't know your name. And he was like rallying them up, and they all start opening their beers. And I'm like, perfect ending. Oh, wait. Oh, they're showing
yeah.
Vic. Let's go. I'm like, dang you, Penguin. Well, it's funny. They show her, and I pause, and I'm like, this is the end. I have to
Yep.
wait a whole week now.
Right?
Darn it.
Oh my God. This is the type of TV show that I love. I hate it and I love it at the same time, and I hate that I love it so much. I love the fact that I'm this hooked in it, that I really truly care about what's going on with these characters. And when they get me with an ending of an episode like that, I'm sitting there like, I hate that this is episodic and that I have to wait a whole week just to find out what's going to happen next. But at the same time, I also like the little break that we get in between, so I can sit here and and exclaim my hatred of this situation with the two of you. our YouTube channel. But no, this is such good TV. And yeah, I really did think like, oh wow, okay, this is a pretty nice ending. We're gonna rally the troops and pass out beers. And when the triad guys, finally was like crack their beers open, which I thought that was like an awesome little Spartacus moment. I'm Spartacus. I love how, everyone cracking the beer, that was their signifier that, yeah, I'm in. I'm with you, Oz, that kind of thing. And I'm like, that was cool. That's a neat little addition to because like you knew what they're doing. It's good storytelling.
Yep.
Yeah. They wouldn't have known they were setting it up that way. It was so smooth. He was just passing out beers.
Mm-hmm.
And then he grabs the beer. I bet, like, if you're in that universe, he didn't even know that they were going to do that to signify.
Right.
But once he opened his beer, and once the triad guy opened his beer, I was like, he rallied the troops, man. He got everybody. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to get to people. And he's right about what he's saying.
Yeah.
Well, you know why it's so effective is because it's heartfelt, because that's how he felt. That's how they treated him. So he knows everyone else can relate to the exact same thing. So he knows exactly what to say to reel them all in. And it was just, once again, Colin Farrell did a tremendous job.
Yes.
Reeling him in.
Did I get Alberto? Yes. Did I steal Sophia's drugs? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I'd do it all again.
Yeah.
And we even got, I thought, two other scenes that really stood out to me was Salvatore Maroni and Sophia
cooking,
eating and cooking together.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, great. And he's just like looking at her eating, like not in a like, what's wrong, like a connection.
It's like he was looking for praise for his food.
Yeah, but also like feeling like, wow, who would have thought?
I'm sitting here with my enemy.
Yeah, and we're like bonding. And I thought, obviously with, Clancy Brown in any scene, he always does a great job. And obviously the girl playing Sophia has proven her chops here.
You know what I thought was amazing in that scene is how quickly when he got done eating, and he just snapped right back into business mode.
Mm-hmm.
All at once. I was like, wow, that was Oscar-worthy performance right there, because he was sitting there going like, oh, this is a nice moment with my, up until now mortal enemy. We're sharing this meal, and we're, as a viewer, I didn't think, he's gonna poison her or something. I didn't think that. I thought it was like they're having a moment. She's letting it happen, and he's letting it happen, and then all of a sudden he switches gears, and he's talking business. And I was like, that was amazing.
Well, and it was, he's like, oh, this is a recipe, that my wife taught me, and it's this, and taught me little tricks and stuff. So he's sharing personal information about himself. So do a little show it's genuine what they're experiencing here. And you're right. Okay, we ate. Now it's time to get down to business. And then the other scene was Sophia and Eve, where Eve finds out the truth about Oz. She's always probably understood it, but hearing what he did to her and how he helped Carmine keep it under wraps that he was killing these women, helped blame it on Sophia, and also, basically, he killed my brother and you were his alibi. Did you know it? Well, I didn't know at first. I knew it was something. I didn't know, it was Alberto's. She's like, I can't trust Oz. He's all in for himself, which we all know he is. But once again, he's loyal to people that are loyal to him. So he was always going to be loyal to Eve. And at the end, when she was like, Crown Point, make sure no one ever, make sure she's like, it's between us. It's between those girls. I was like, oh my God, Oz is going to be more devastated by that lack of loyalty from Eve than probably anything else that happened if he finds out. I thought that was such a great way to what is the word I'm looking for here? Sort of show how Oz is going to deal at some point with someone who's disloyal, even though Oz kind of brings it out himself. you know, all the things that Sophia was saying were true. She wasn't spinning lies to get Eve to go against Oz. She was just telling Eve all the things that actually happened that confirms probably what she knew about him anyway. But the one thing she didn't understand is he's loyal to a fault. And if you're the same way to him, he's going to do anything he can for you. And she just crossed that line. And when he finds out, if he finds out.
Yeah. I think he does.
I do too.
I think he does find out.
I think he will too. I'm hoping actually that they do go into detail. Like normally I would be against like a whole flashback thing, but I kind of do want an explanation for just going from hearing Crown Point to finding the exact apartment that they're hiding in. I would like to see how she came to that conclusion. You know, like how see her do a little bit of detective work and or who it is that she had to, you know, threaten in order to get the exact information. Hey, have you seen Oz? Where is he? You know?
You know, that's why I thought it was really ending after the Gold Summit sort of scene. Because I thought it was going to be, we were going to see Maroney's boys and, you know, Giganti boys kind of cracking down in Crown Point to find out where they're at. And I was like, well, Squid can't tell on them.
Yeah.
Because,
Not anymore.
You know what? I thought that whole Squid storyline was set up awesome. I mean, he didn't have to be such a major character, but they did set him up so that you knew he was somebody to be dealt with. You know? What was he in it for 3 or 4 scenes total?
Yeah.
And still, he had a big impact in the series and Vic's evolution.
And it's not, so first off, he's not a good guy. So, you know, we understand that Vic has to do what he has to do in order to protect himself, protect Oz. But at the same time, he still took a life. Now, again, Squid, not a great guy. Probably would have happened eventually. But the fact that it was Vic that did it, the first time that he took another life like this, that's... So, yeah, his reaction, it felt so genuine. I think I loved that entire section of the episode. It was just top tier acting
and writing. I mean, they really, like Dave said, for a character to have that much impact on a story that's only been in about 3 scenes. I mean, we saw him in the flashback scene of it, and so well done. And it's going to have ramifications down the line for Vic's character.
Oh yeah.
And that's how you write. That is the difference between writing a good show and a great show. And we see examples of this between Agatha and the Penguin. I mean, I can't imagine there being a better show than this. They do everything that we make fun of Sony for, taking a show and making it all about a villain and the superheroes nowhere in it. But this is telling just an amazing, compelling story about characters. And obviously, this is probably going to pan out in the next Batman movie, which we've talked about many times. And just, we're going to see why he gets there. And it's not going to be rushed. They take their time to tell it, and it is just paying off.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. I'm sad there's only 2 episodes left because...
I know it is ending too soon. It's like, I need more. I really do. I need more of this. This is... God, this entire series so far has just been so engaging. This is a definite I haven't picked up my phone series.
It's funny because I usually watch it on Sunday night. I'm in a fantasy football league.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't look at my phone to check scores on the Sunday night game while I'm watching this. It's like, it's to the side, and anything else I'm doing on Sunday night, I'm usually, did someone score? Checking scores, you know, pop up, checking scores. And the Penguins on it, I'm just like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mesmerized.
Take your eyes off. That's a great show.
The other
don't even know.
I'll be right back.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
While he's gone, we can even talk about Oz getting the power turned back on in Crown Point. I mean, he is doing little things like that for the betterment of that community. And I think that's going to, you know, go a long way to the loyalty he's, you know, getting with the people.
Exactly.
He didn't have to go there. He didn't have to do any of that. And obviously he wanted it for his mom too, but you know, he knows how things work. Yeah, you're taking kickbacks. We know what's going on. Just get it done. Don't leave these people like that. They're human beings and whatnot. And he's going to be, you know, as he always says, his main thing, he said about it in the very first episode when he was talking to Alberto, and he's like, he walked through the neighborhood. He would ask everyone how they were. Everyone looked up to him, and he's like, "That's what you think this is? What a joke! No, that's not how it is." And what ended up setting us off to shooting him. But that's what he wants to be, and he is going the extra mile to be that guy that when he walks through the neighborhood, he's going to know everybody's name. He's going to say hi to him, and they're all going to look up. That's what he thinks. Look up to him and stuff. What's up, Soul Man?
Yeah, he's going to be the guy he's going to be the good guy from the perspective that we're seeing the show. He just does things in a way
if you hear stuff like that,
that's
it's just
illegal.
It's a new update.
That's cool. Thanks, buddy.
Does things in a way that are, that's illegal, and and he'll take you out if it's going to take him down, But other than that, he's doing things like what he feels is right to take care of people, not just himself either. Like we said, if you're loyal, he will. And I hate to say that because it sounds like some fascist leader who requires loyalty or else you're done. It's not to that extreme. It's like if you're good to him, he's good to you.
Yeah.
And the way they're presenting it, it's like even when he comes up, I mean, if he's in the next Batman movie, if he's the main villain, I don't know if he's supposed to be the main villain or not, but you can already see his side of it. It's like, Thanos. You can understand why he thinks that way, but he's not going about it the way that we would go about it. And that's the Penguin. You're making him very sympathetic.
And Killmonger from Black Panther.
Yeah.
He wants the right thing. He's just going about it the wrong way. Oh, and Carrie is out in the chat. Don't know when you said you're late, but you made it. But thank you for coming here. I don't know if you've been watching Agatha all along or The Penguin. Love to hear your thoughts on both. Hopefully you didn't see Venom: The Last Dance. Actually, I think you had the Battlestar Galactica convention this weekend. If you're still out there, let us know how that went. That'd be, us cool people like Battlestar Galactica. But once again, overall, this show just does everything right, and it's like I feel totally immersed when I'm watching it, and I can't even think of anything to even nitpick at. They do such a good job of everything. Every character is well defined and deep, has their own strengths and flaws and everything else. And I mean,
it's hard to do anything but heap praise them because they do concentrate on every aspect, and you understand why things happen. While it's not predictable, you can understand why everything's the way with it. You understand why the characters do what they do.
Yeah. Even when things happen that we guessed, it's still executed so well. It's not like we're like, can't believe they did that. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I think if anything happens to, Oz's mom and Vic, we all kind of thought that's where they're going to be going, but I'm sure they're still going to do a great job of executing it. It won't be something we roll our eyes at. It'll be something like, I wish I was wrong. Oh, man.
Not every series needs to have some sort of mystery to unpack or to unlock throughout the course of the series. So the fact that this one seems to be a bit lacking in it, like there's nothing to uncover, no, oh my gosh, can't believe that happened. That's fine. Like, it's perfectly fine for this series. Like, you don't need to have that. You can just have good storytelling.
Yeah, just good characters, good acting.
Yeah.
And, it's a crime drama. You're right. It's not a mystery. They don't need to have some, what's that secret thing he has in a box he carries around?
Right. What's in the box?
What's in the box? God, that movie's good.
Did you guys watch looks like we lost Dave.
Well.
Oh, there he is. Did you two watch after the episode?
I did.
Of The Penguin? I watched it too, and I gotta say, hey, welcome back, Dave. I gotta say, one of my my favorite things that they discussed was the fact that they purposely kind of designed the apartment around Cristin Milioti the way that she wanted to do the scene. So they clearly discussed it beforehand. Okay, so this is in the script, this is what we're thinking. And she's like, well, actually, no, I think it would be more unnerving and a little bit more to this character for me to kind of walk around and comment on different things in the room. And then they're like, okay, yeah. So they gave it as much room. The way they put it in this after the episode thing was we gave her as much room to move around as possible based on how she wanted to do this scene. And the fact that they're going so far as to incorporate, their actors' decisions on how to best play this character, to me, that's first off, they're excellent actors and actresses, but also the trust, the fact that it's like, yes, we know that you guys have done the studying, we know that you've done the research, you know these characters that you are going to be portraying. What do you think is best for portraying this character? That just, to me, hearing that, I was like, I love that. I love the fact that they're working in unison. It's a symbiotic relationship.
I wonder if we look into the credits and see if she's an executive producer or something.
Oh, maybe she is. Yeah. And
I wouldn't be surprised if they gave her some sort of credit. Yeah.
Carrie did say she's starting Agatha tonight. Looking forward to your thoughts on it. We always respect what you think of these shows, especially because you love Loki so much, so we know you have good taste. And not only that you love Loki, but you also love Battlestar Galactica. And you said the convention was amazing, absolute perfection, couldn't have been better. I am glad to hear that. I wish I could have been there because I'm really hoping we get more Battlestar Galactica at some point. I know Doug wants to rewatch the series again.
I was actually just thinking of you two over the weekend. I decided yesterday, I didn't have a whole lot going on. I was just kind of chillaxing, enjoying the day. And I turned on a few episodes of one of my favorite space-related sci-fi series. And it's a show that you guys have said you hate. And I don't care.
Uh-oh.
I watched a couple of episodes of The Orville. And I still like it.
I've never seen it. I can't say that I hate it.
It's not great by any means. Okay, it is. It's low budget for sure. It definitely feels a lot like, and you can tell that this is what they were, paying homage to. It feels very much like Next Generation, Star Trek.
Only not as well written. You know what's funny though?
Season two was much better. Season one, definitely not. You can tell season one, the way that they had written it, that it was very much in line with a lot of other Seth MacFarlane's type of comedy. But, little fun fact, Dave Filoni was a consultant on that show, and he started leaning more heavily on him in the second and third season.
See, I didn't even get through the first season.
And also Dave Filoni directed the pilot.
See, I didn't like the pilot either.
I didn't care for the pilot myself.
That whole show to me I was like, it's not as funny as it thinks it is, and it's not. It's not good sci-fi that it wants to be.
Seth MacFarlane jokes to me never land, but as far as like the sci-fi stuff, I did enjoy that, and I was thinking about it because I was watching. I'm like, I really like this, but I never was able to get into Battlestar Galactica. I just could not get into it. I tried, but it just didn't strike me. It didn't tickle my fancy. But I was sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, it is funny that I do like this. Keith hates it, but I didn't like Battlestar Galactica, and he loves it.
And Carrie said they're actually doing another BSG convention in New Jersey next year. They make bank. Also raised $46K in the live auction for Michael Hogan, who has been suffering from TBI. And yes, Carrie, we're with you, Doug. Doug. But hey, you know what?
At least I tried, okay? I did.
Our cameraman for our At the Theater reviews, which we should do another one soon. We haven't done one in it seems like forever. He loves the Orville too. He was like always, every time I talk to him, he's like, "Did you watch Orville?" I'm like, "Dude, I told you I stopped watching it. I couldn't get past like halfway through the first season, and I'm like, I'm done. I can't like waste my time on this anymore." And he was always telling me that I should get into it again. Maybe I don't want to.
Well, same thing happened with the Clone Wars animated series. You didn't like that at first either.
That is true.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I stopped watching it in the first season, and then my brother, who had his boys were young at the time watching it, he's like, we were talking one day. It was at like a birthday party or something. He's like, "Are you still watching the Clone Wars?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "You should watch again. They've got some really good episodes." And I'm like, "Oh, check it out." And I was like, "Oh my god!" I like jumped off at the worst point. Like as soon as
Right.
the episode I went back to, I was like, "Okay, this is pretty good," you know. And then obviously one of the, and obviously it wasn't part of the original series, but battle for. Oh my god, what is the Mandalore planet? Why can't.
The Siege of Mandalore.
Yeah, Siege of Mandalore was like
Yeah.
some of the best animated work ever on a show like that.
Yes.
I just thought it was
Yeah.
tremendous.
The last nine, I think nine or so episodes, excluding the Martez sisters. Uh, those episodes were probably the best in this series, and that series was an amazing series.
I also didn't like the Bad Batch episodes either,
Oh yeah, those
which
ones
which
felt.
is weird because the Bad Batch series went on to be amazing.
Yeah.
Remember how much? It's something whenever none of us are excited about a series. It turns out because the Bad Batch episodes on the Clone Wars were like
Not good.
the
Yeah.
entire bad. They're like, we just do things the way we ain't listening to orders. We ain't doing this. It was like, oh my god, they're totally cliched, like
Right, yeah.
cop show stuff. How terrible is that? And then they get their own show, and it's like, where was this on the Clone Wars?
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, this
Right.
works. Right, yeah. I'd say the only good part about the Bad Batch episode was seeing pre-Vader Anakin just like lose it and then lightsaber that dude from the back of the seat, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This episode got cool again. And then we've got Wrecker being rah, 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 and it's like, oh, okay, now we're dumb again.
Rika.
Oh, you want a bird?
Rika.
Well, he wasn't Rika yet.
Yeah, we hadn't met Omega.
Rika. Yeah, I remember none of us were waiting for that show. It was like, why are they doing that show?
Right?
And it was 3 solid seasons of fantasticness.
And I still remember the first episode when it dropped. I like started it and I looked to see how long it is, and I'm like, oh my god,
like a
it's
movie.
an hour. I'm like, then I'm like, oh.
It does a good job of hooking you.
It was definitely not one of these shows.
No, I think, oh my gosh, I think where it really picked up and in that first episode and where I was definitely hooked is where they tied in the speech that Palpatine gives from the movie. It was directly took that speech and then they tied it directly into that, and I'm like, oh, I love when they do stuff like this, when they take things from the movies and put it directly into the show. Like they did it with the last season of Clone Wars with Execute Order 66. And it's like, oh, yes, they're doing it.
When they pull that stuff off, it is fan freaking tastic. But let's get out of tangent time. Let's get back to the Penguin. Should we rate this episode, fellas?
No.
Okay. So we are going to be off this Thursday for Halloween.
Yeah, okay. Well, this was another delight. It was just amazing writing, amazing. I mean, I can't even say enough about it, and it doesn't need special effects like we were saying earlier. The story is so good. It's all street level. They don't need to do anything extraneous with this show because the story and the dialogue is so well, and of course, the story and the dialogue being so good leads to the acting being amazing. I texted Keith while I was watching the show and said, Colin Farrell deserves to win whatever award is out there for a TV series. He's amazing. The way he runs through emotions while wearing that ridiculous getup for him. He says 4 hours before he can even start acting when they're putting the makeup on. And I don't know. I can't say enough about it. So I'm giving this episode, another 9.
Dave, you pretty much took the words out of my mouth. It is impeccable TV. I get so excited to watch this, and it is definitely what I look forward to the most out of the 2 shows that we're watching. Like I said, when we were talking about Agatha, it's fine. Like, I don't mind. I'll watch it the night that it airs. It's not like it's something that I'm delaying, but it's not the thing that grabs my attention as much as the Penguin does. And so when that drops, like I'm sitting there, I'm counting down the minutes, like, okay, it's 8:58. Okay, it's 8:59. Okay, let me check Max. It's got to be there. All right, yes, I can start the episode. And every one of these episodes has just been so good. Like I cannot think of any like negative aspects that like jumps to mind out of any of these episodes. It's just that good, And the fact that this is yet another one where the character development was so phenomenal, the acting was so phenomenal, clearly the attention to detail with the writing and everything was perfect. We already spoke about one of my favorite scenes where we saw Vic basically his character kind of goes like goes through a dark transformation. He's becoming more of a criminal. He's embracing this new, dark family that he's become a part of. He's doing worse things. He just took life, and this is his first time
Would you
doing
say his
something
dark
like that.
Passenger
Huh?
from
Okay,
Dexter.
Oh, you guys can't do that to me. I haven't seen that.
Oh, I didn't know you haven't seen it.
I watched the
definitely
first
need.
episode and I didn't like it.
Oh, you gotta let it sink in.
No, that's okay. I don't want to. I thought it was stupid. Anyway, The Penguin, good show. I really really dug this episode, and as I was getting up, I had to step away. I heard you guys get ready to talk about the fact that Oz was able to get the power turned back on. Gosh, did I think that was so cool. I love how he basically blackmailed that city council guy or whatever he was in order to make sure the power got turned on in Crown Point. So this is going to, not only is it going to help Oz out with his his drugs and his crime and whatnot, but now the people of Crown Point are going to kind of look at him like a hero, which is what Oz's goal is. It's what he's trying to accomplish at the end of the day. He wants to have that sort of recognition that the mob boss that he looked up to had. He wants people to kind of like sing his praises and remember him for the being able to be the go-to. The people can know that they can go to him and save them when, the corrupt politicians can't. And Oz kind of sees himself as this sort of benevolent crime lord. So yeah, he's doing crime things, but he twists it in his own mind to see it as an ultimate good. I'm giving people bliss. I'm making them feel better about the situation. I'm getting this corrupt politician to turn on the power. And although it's really just to help him out with his crimes, it is also helping out the people of Crown Point. So I pretty much loved everything in this, and then that final scene where we see Sophia, and the fact that it is such a cliffhanger. The fact that they stop it right there, and we now have to wait an entire week to find out, A, how did she find him so quick, and B, what is she gonna do when she confronts Oz? Especially when she thinks that he has no family, that he has nothing. We saw that scene earlier where they were walking around the apartment, and I love how she hands the golf club to
Sal.
Sal, and she's like, "Go ahead and practice your swing." He just starts smashing stuff. But I like how, like, even she thinks, like, she knows that Oz is a liar, but even she believes, oh yeah, he's got nothing. All of his family's dead. His mom is dead. His brothers are dead. He's got no one. He's got nothing. When she finds out that he got yet another lie past her and that his mother's been alive this whole time, I don't know how she's going to react to that. Is she going to lose it? Is she going to end up killing her? What?
Very possibly.
So this episode, easy a 9 out of 10. So good. And I know that it's only going to get even better from there.
Yeah, there's not much more, I can say that you guys haven't said. We got the wonderful scene between Sophia and Sal at the beginning. We got the scene between Victor and Oz. We saw Victor's sort of dark transformation, the dark passenger for you Dexter fans. We saw the scene between Sophia and Eve. We saw the scene, the Gold Summit, where Oz convinced all of these different gangs who hate each other to join up, and we can do this, and be rich and be the crime lords and everything. all of that pieced together in one episode just almost seems possible that they could pull it off. And yet they do it seamlessly. And it was just so great. I mean, we've said it 100 times. The acting in this show, everybody on this show is just a tremendous actor and really, showing their gravitas. The writing is good. They're not overdoing it. We're not seeing silly scenes where it's like, oh, everybody hide, the Batman's up there. Yes, this is Gotham, but they're telling the story they have to tell. They're not doing these fan service moments where fan service done right, we like, but they're not throwing it in there just to do it. And I think this show is probably going to go down as one of the all-time great comic book, series ever. And I'm giving this week's episode a 9.3. I thought it hit all the emotional, levels we needed. It brought the story forward. And then leaving on that cliffhanger, which, I'm going to be at a football game in Lambeau Field Sunday night. And I'll probably be, hey, let's get back to the hotel so we can watch the Penguin at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I think we figured out how this game is going to go. Come on, let's leave.
Overtime's not that important. Let's just go. I don't want to miss the start.
It's just free football. No big deal.
And no, Carrie, I will be in Lambeau watching the Packers beat up on the Lions. So, and just a fun fact for those of you playing the home game, since I know everyone loves talking sports ball with us.
Don't say it.
The Packers backup quarterback, Malik Willis, has won more games this year than Aaron Rodgers, the Hall of Fame quarterback that is now playing for the Jets. So just a little something. He'll get number 4 next week if Love doesn't play against the Lions. But, so how's it going, gentlemen? Anything else we need to talk about?
Doug's like, I hope he has fun. That's all I care about.
Are these names I should know?
And yes,
I don't
Carrie,
even
Aaron
want to
Rodgers
talk about
is an embarrassment.
Yeah.
Every
Oh,
day.
did you guys see what she wrote a little while ago? You guys would have so appreciated the panel. Did you guys say that already?
Oh, no. You guys would have so appreciated the panel conversation about how the experience has been lost in TV with batch drops and how you lose appreciation for the art and ability to sit and reflect in an episode as you... Oh, man, I would have loved that. I do. TV series now they want it to be bingeable. And you don't have the water cooler stuff a lot. We can go, we love to go between each episode and talk about what happened, what what's next, and all that stuff. And it has become a thing where I'm not a fan of, every episode dropping at once. I do like to wait between episodes to let it all sink in and stuff. So, much like how Battlestar Galactica aired, when it aired back in the day.
You know what? One of these days, I need to compile a list of all the shows that I don't like, and then just mark off nerd cred points for it.
You know what? We all have shows that we don't like. What's there? There's gotta be. What, Dave?
She-Hulk.
No,
You're
but
not
I'm saying
alone. A lot of people didn't like that.
like shows that people are generally loved that we don't like. And I'm not saying we like.
Our friend Dre, who didn't like Breaking Bad.
I don't get
Oh,
that.
yeah. Like you with Dexter.
Yeah.
See, what he didn't, Doug was just upset because when he first started working with us at the company we worked at, he would bring donuts in every Friday, much like a certain
remember
Dexter.
that?
I do.
Yeah. You were Dexter back then.
We were
Wait,
like,
you guys did not call me that, did you?
We did. We're
I
like,
don't think.
Okay.
what do you think Dexter's
That's the
going
first
after this
episode.
weekend? I said, I'll take this honey glaze.
Bear
Thanks,
claw.
John McClane. Ooh, Candace McClure talked about how they make TV to be the second screen and not the first screen anymore. Your phone is the first screen. Yeah, as
Yeah.
you know, we often talk about how often we look at our phone during a show because if a show really grabs you and keeps your attention, the phone is lost. I can, my phone is charging instead of me going checking scores or doing anything else. So, that is a huge thing. There's so many shows that I think that are built that way because you don't miss anything when you're checking your phone. You can hear it almost, hear things being said. And you don't really miss it. And that is really, I hope we get back to it not being a second screen anymore because, quality television is, an art form and a joy to watch. And some of the...
Imagine if all the shows on TV were like The Penguin, Andor, The Mandalorian season 1 and 2. If these were all on at the same time, I'd be doing nothing but watching TV.
Yeah, no, me too. And there's so many things that, I'll watch with my wife, and it's like, it's fine. She likes it, so I'll watch it with her, but I'm not like, if I never watched it again, some of these shows, I'd be fine. And it's sad that I think the majority of the shows are like that.
Yeah.
Loki season 1 and 2.
I could watch those.
You know what
again.
I think is kind of it's sad but funny at the same time. You know how they made the spin-offs from the Big Bang Theory? They had the Sheldon show, and then they have the
Blah Blah's first wedding.
what?
Blah Blah, whatever his brother's name is, and their first wedding.
Yeah. So
First
That
marriage.
show is a spin-off of...
yes,
Young Sheldon. Yeah.
I did not know that. I've never watched Big Bang Theory. I've never watched Young Sheldon.
So here's the weird transition this went through. Apparently, in the Big Bang Theory, the character of Sheldon is it turns out that he's like an unreliable narrator because he's so full of himself. Everything is in his worldview, how he views things. And so he always tells these stories about his father and his mother and his sister and his brother and everything. And then as people were watching the Young Sheldon series, they're like, oh, this doesn't match up at all with the way that Sheldon described any of these characters in the Big Bang Theory. And they were kind of giving these characters more of a background and more of a fleshed out story. And I don't remember how many seasons it had, but it was on for quite a while. And it was unusual because it wasn't in the same style as the Big Bang Theory. They treated it more like a Malcolm in the Middle or a series like that, where it didn't have a laugh track. They, clearly put more thought into it. They had an overarching story. They had actual characters and everything. And from what I have heard, other than the character of Sheldon, who the whole show was based on, nobody liked that character. Everybody seemed to like the show, minus Sheldon. The people that watched it, and said that it actually had a lot of good stories, a lot of good episodes. And so I think it's kind of funny that they created this spin-off, The First Wedding. Cannot think of the characters' names, but they created the spin-off, and they're doubling back into, they turned this into a laugh track, sitcom comedy. And it's that feels like you're taking a step backwards. I don't understand. The people who were praising the Young Sheldon series for what it did different, and then all of a sudden, this next spin-off series is basically just the Big Bang Theory all over again. It's you clearly didn't learn what worked and what didn't.
Or the Big Bang Theory got more viewership, so they want that back. Because remember,
So it's all at the end of the day, again,
corporate
it's all
people,
about
yes. Instead of it being quality, I didn't know that about Young Sheldon. I thought it was the same thing as Big Bang. And Carrie does say she said it was great.
Mandy's first marriage.
What's that, Dave?
George and Mandy's first marriage.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Carrie says Young Sheldon was great. She said the best part is that Laurie Metcalf plays the mom in Big Bang, and her daughter plays Sheldon's mom in the prequel. I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that either.
I knew that.
I was gonna say my favorite part about the series, based on the clips that I've seen on TikTok and stuff, I found out that Annie Potts plays Sheldon's grandma.
Yep. I've
Who,
seen that. I haven't actually watched the show either, and I've gained the knowledge the same way that you have.
Who is Janine in Ghostbusters? So that alone I'd be like, okay, well, you get points for that.
And was also in Designing Women. I mean, I heard.
Yeah, way back in 1988 with Delta Burke.
Yeah.
Oh, Who's that?
So, like I was saying, we're not going to be here Thursday. Carrie said that's what I love her from. From Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
or
Ghostbusters.
Designing
That's
Women?
right.
Carrie's
I'm
probably not
guessing
old enough to remember her from Designing Women.
Well, Ghostbusters came out before then, though. Before Designing Women.
Right, but I mean, my son has seen Ghostbusters. He's 8 years old.
Yeah.
He's never seen an episode of Designing Women. Or has he?
Well, it was a series?
My DD. Yeah, it was
Sure
a
you
series.
don't have the whole collection?
Oh, I thought it was like a movie or something. I didn't know.
and
I'd never heard.
Carrie said Designing Women. I may have been watching reruns. Yeah.
I have never heard of that show. All right.
It was on in the late 80s.
Hmm.
And Jean Smart was in it she's on an HBO show now, Delta Burke, Annie Potts. I forget who else was on. It was an entertaining show. It was one of those it was a sitcom, but they didn't have like a big laugh track. They kind of had one, but it was done a little better than most sitcoms, and I think it really stood out from Dixie Carter. Thank you. Some of the
Kind of like
stuff,
Golden Girls, Keith.
I like the Golden Girls too. That show was funny.
Thank you for being a friend.
Travel down the road. I'll never forget. I had never seen that show until I had a break at college for an hour, and I would go down to the student center, and someone had Golden Girls on one day when I walked in there, and someone was watching it, so I wasn't going to turn the channel. So I sit down, and I was going to open my books, and I start watching it, and I'm like, "Hey, this is pretty funny." And I remember like every Thursday I'd head down to the student center like, "Oh, Golden Girls is on," and then I would like end up going home, and it'd be like, "Oh, there's some Golden Girls on tonight. The roommates aren't around. I'm watching the Golden Girls." They'd come in. I'm like, "Oh, I'm watching The Godfather. What are you guys talking about?"
That's the first time I saw Betty White, and I thought Betty White was hilarious. You know,
Really, everyone on Golden
actress.
Girls.
She loved making fun of herself. She loved making sexual innuendos. Even into her 90s, she was doing that. And she was hilarious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone on the Golden Girls did a really good job. You know, B. Arthur, Betty White, Rue McClanahan. Then the youngest one on the show, played the oldest lady, and I can't remember her name.
Right, I saw that. And George Mull, I think his name was, comedian from back then. He was on that show.
Yep. But hey, it's getting late. We should probably. I want to stop losing all my street cred for my love of women-run sitcom, women-led sitcoms from the 80s. But we should probably find someone to raid.
Looks like A-Tray is on finally.
Oh, that means she wasn't watching.
Yeah,
us
right.
today.
She just stopped watching us. Now she's ready.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know,
I continued to sub and it didn't put it on there. It hates me.
it does. We're sorry, Dave. We like you if that's any consolation.
It is. Thank you. Excuse me.
Okay, so for those of you out on YouTube, rating is something we do on Twitch where we take all of our viewers, send them to another content creator that we enjoy, kind of share the love as we will. So we won't be doing that for you guys because it's not something on YouTube. But please, if you're watching and you like what you see, subscribe, like, comment. It helps our channel out tremendously, and it's of no cost to you. So we're going to raid here, and we will not be here Thursday night. It's Halloween. I got kids trick-or-treating and crazy stuff going on, and then traveling for the weekend to see the greatest team, ever beat up on the Lions. And then, we'll be back here a week from today, talk about the Agatha finale, two-episode finale, and episode 7 of, it was called Gotham, of The Penguin. So much better than Gotham.
So much better than Gotham.
Don't get me wrong, please. I feel bad I even
Gotham
thought
was
that
okay, but it definitely dropped off quick.
Yeah, it was good at first. I thought they were doing a good job, and then I think they fell into the, hey,
Let's just do cameos.
people are upset there's no Bruce Wayne. We'll put a young Bruce Wayne in. We're going to start doing all this. It got away from what it was pretty quickly.
It really did.
Let's throw in the Joker, too. Why not? Let's put them all in there.
You know what, though? Right. Cameron Monaghan, who did the Joker in Gotham, did a dang good job.
Yeah.
That was
Both
one of,
versions of him.
yes, both versions. Oh, we cannot raid A-Tray at this time.
Really?
Yeah.
That's something wrong with
I wonder if she was getting some hate raids. Bubble is playing Alien Isolation.
Okay.
Ooh, Not Your Status Quo is on, talking Agatha and the Penguin. Not a lot of people on tonight.
I'm good with Bubble if you guys are.
Yeah. I was watching her before while I was setting up before we jumped on today.
All right.
Don't bother me none.
Okay, so once again, we're rating. It's a Twitch thing. YouTube, please do your stuff. We'll see you back here next Monday talking Agatha and the Penguin again, and we hope you all can join us. Thank you so much. Headed on the wrong outro.
Hey, fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.